broadcast, and it's this. It's this. Easter is a holiday. It's a holiday on the calendar, and it's a Christian holiday. And it's one of those holidays that you want all your family close. You want all your family close, like Thanksgiving, like Christmas. You want, if at all possible, you, your spouse, your kids, if you're of a certain age, your grandkids, their kids, you want that family close. And my goodness, what must Joni's Easter be like? Because we're going to go through just a few clips here and just a little bit of information, and I don't think it looks anything like anyone would want their Easter to look like. And I take no joy in saying that. But Joni's health, we don't know. It doesn't look good. She may be literally fighting for her life. She may just be, but just recovering. There may be a vanity factor. Maybe she could function, but you'd be able to see that, yeah, there was a surgery, or maybe some hair had to be shaved, or who knows? But you can't, in the Daystar land, you can't do anything on camera unless professionals have spent time making you look as good as you possibly can. And Laura Lynn just said in that clip that I think JT reminded her that this is the woman that appeared on camera hours after her husband died. There was a clip that I looked for that I couldn't find. I had it maybe a year ago, 6 months ago. It might be in one of my archives that I can't find. But I've seen the clip and I've heard the audio of Daystar actually calling to the hospital. I believe, I'm not positive, but I think maybe Rachel was the one running the phone, but actually putting her dad, Marcus Lamb, on the phone when he's in the hospital fighting for his life. My point is that in the Daystar world, you are on TV and you keep the show going no matter what, which leads us back to the question, where is Joni? Well, I'll tell you what she's not doing. She's not enjoying the company of her wonderful son and very capable son, Jonathan, and her very, very sweet daughter-in-law, Susie, or her grandchildren. And the coldness, the callousness, the coldness of heart in the process of just doing a little bit of prep for this program that I felt like I really needed to do, was supposed to do, to just mark this day. I knew that I wanted to get a couple of stills from Marcus' funeral, the funeral of Marcus Lamb. And I happened upon this clip, and I think it's very appropriate to play and to try to point out its relevance to the topic. And this was labeled, and I believe it, from the very last television appearance that Marcus Lamb made. The last time he was on Daystar, this is what he was talking about.
Let me just talk to you just a moment. Forgiveness does not start out usually as a feeling. It starts out as a choice. And it's not easy when somebody has so egregiously hurt you, used you, abused you, taken advantage of you. That's why you have to ask God to give you the grace to forgive. And remember, as we said earlier, forgiveness is more for you than it is for that person. Many times that person doesn't even care.
Right.
That's why they were so mean to you in the first place.
Yeah.
So don't worry about that. You got to have your heart right with the Lord. One of the ways to do this is start praying daily. I love that, Jim, that you're doing that. You're praying for Corey, the drunk driver, daily.
Folks, oops, there we are. That just seems. I mean, that's heartfelt. That's Marcus Lamb. Now, listen, Marcus Lamb had his issues, had a 7-year affair. I'm not making Marcus Lamb perfect, but I believe that he repented at the end, and I really do. I believe that. But my point is, there's the leader, the champion of the network, and the last program he's talking about is the condition of the heart and forgiveness. Jonathan and Susie didn't do anything that they would have to be forgiven for. But nonetheless, the hardness of the heart of Joni Lamb, when she's got that example of her now deceased husband, it's just striking. So because I wanted to grab a still, I had never gone through the funeral of Marcus Lamb, and just it's kind of the way prep and research goes. Sometimes you just feel like you need to check something out, and then that leads to this, that leads to that. But I want you to hear the words, a few of the words from Jonathan Lamb, and I'm going to play that.
My father always taught and prayed over me, and he taught me to walk humbly before God, depending fully on him alone. He also taught me the absolute importance of putting family first before ministry.
Jonathan Lamb at his father's funeral is saying that his father, Marcus Lamb, taught him the absolute importance of never putting ministry over family, but always put family over ministry. And you just have to ask, Joni, what happened? How could you kick this young man to the curb? How could you not bless them financially when your wealthy husband died? How could you, your son, your flesh and blood son, and just toss them? They don't matter anymore for your own greed, for your own chance in the spotlight, for so many other things we're not going to relitigate here. How could you toss your daughter-in-law and your grandchildren to the curb? I want to play this clip by Susie Lamb. I'm actually going to play two small clips by Susie.
From food to spiritual things to just fun things, he was always pouring love and joy into us. He cared about everything. He would send me emails, so many emails, and they're so beautiful. I took screenshots. He sent me an email. He would send me emails of articles on how to study the Bible, how to be a good preacher, a speaker, and he'd always write, "This is for my preacher girl." And
when you listen to the 5 minutes or so that Susie had in that funeral, she talked about Marcus and all the amazing things that she interacted with Marcus about, and how he was so caring, and she paints a picture of Marcus the man, Marcus the family man, Marcus the nurturer, Marcus the encourager, Marcus the one that taught her that, yeah, red meat can be really good. She talked about Marcus, and I want to play this too, and this will make sense here in
some
just
of the
a moment.
most precious times of my whole life will be those last 3 weeks that I got with him, because I'm really thankful to Joni for allowing me to be there in that room. I tried to help her so she could maybe catch up on a little rest, but his eyes were always searching for Joni.
This is the young lady that helped take care of Marcus in his dying stages in the hospital, when they're hoping and praying and believing that he is going to get better. Joni is entrusting her daughter-in-law, and this is the daughter-in-law that Joni Lamb kicks to the curb. And I just have to ask again, how's your Easter going for you, Joni? It's so sad. And if Joni is fighting for her life, or maybe it's a serious health situation that's not quite that serious, but we all know that she's been ill. Why would you put yourself in a position where you're deprived of the comfort, the love, and the support of the only son that you have and your daughter-in-law? It just doesn't make sense. All right, I want to say this, and there's a couple of other clips that'll compare this. If I had more time, which I don't, this would be so apparent. But when each of the kids and their spouses spoke, like each about 5 to 4 minutes. So Jonathan and Susie was about a 10-minute slot. Rachel and Pete, Rachel and Joshua Brown, the alleged pedophile, that was about 10 minutes. And then after that was Rebecca and JW. And yes, Jonathan talked about something about his father starting Daystar. And then you heard the comment that I played. where the way that Jonathan remembered his father was that he taught him never put ministry above family. And see, Jonathan's played that out, lived that out. If it was all about ministry and the ministry business game and all of that, they wouldn't have made the decisions that they did. But Jonathan made the decision and Susie made the decision. They made the decisions together that their family is more important than this ministry empire. And I just got to say, I'm going to play a couple of other clips. And you kind of determine this for yourself. But what's interesting, and this is kind of the way research and prep does. I got back in the transcript and I'm searching and I'm looking, and sure enough, Jonathan mentioned Daystar once, and then he talks about his father and who his father was and what his father taught him. When Susie spoke, never mentioned Daystar one time. Didn't talk about Daystar once. She talked about her father-in-law. She talked about Marcus Lamb. And the reason that I even went down that sort of like thought trail was because I heard this.
So much, especially about what's possible when you have a God-given dream and you put your faith in the Lord to see it through. He came from humble beginnings, but never let his circumstances determine his destiny. When God put a vision for the future in his heart, he and my mom faithfully pursued it. And against all odds, Daystar was born.
Sorry, I really enjoyed that. And folks, you might just hear that all by itself. And, there's nothing, that's not bad words. It's just, it really strikes you when you're really listening for it and you listen to it in the context of Jonathan and then Susie. And again, Susie never mentioned Daystar once. And in fact, when you start looking at it really, and I feel so terrible because I love Jonathan and Susie. I've been able to meet them. And this has got to be hurtful and painful. And I don't want to add any hurt, don't want to add any pain, but it's pretty that the entire funeral, you really can look at it as a PR campaign to make sure that Daystar keeps going, and it's all about Daystar. Than what we just played. Okay, if you would like to support us, we appreciate it. But there's not going to become a special blessing at Shundown. But anyway, thank you, OhioForFreedom.com. Thank you, everybody that finds our PayPal link. We really, really, really appreciate it. Our bank card link is very easy to use. We get a good rate. Zelle is instant. We do not get an email, so we can send a thank you. So we say thank you in advance. And our P.O. Box, post office boxes, Ohio for Freedom, P.O. Box 344, Mason, Ohio 45040. I'm really trying to close, folks. Please just be released from the gimmicks. Be released from the gimmicks and be abandoned unto the Lord Jesus Christ. Until next time, God bless you. God bless your family. God bless the state of Ohio, the United States of America. And we send our greetings all over the world in Jesus' name.